Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, hosted by Slam and Jordan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in Coast to Coast episode 3. As always, it's your host, Slam, joined once again by my main man, Ray. What's going on, Ray?
What up, Slam? What up, MBL?
Oh, man, we're chilling today. It's a wonderful Sunday. Thanksgiving just ended. Spent some good time with the family. I assume you did too. You're a family man like I am. How was it?
Yes, sir. It was great, man. Always good, man. Always good.
Very good, very good. Well, I'm thankful for you and Coast to Coast this afternoon.
Yeah, man. I'm thankful for these highlights.
Oh yeah, this is the first edition of the MBL Top 5. I'm surprised we got some clips. Didn't seem like we got too much traction when asking for the clips, but we got a couple of highlights and we were able to piece together a top 5. So we're gonna run through those right now for you. This is a good one to watch on video. If you don't watch it on video, you won't see the highlights. So stop driving, pull over, pick up your phone, and check out these plays that we have for you. Starting off with number 5, Week 11 action. Divisional game, Bills, New England Patriots. Buffalo kicking off up 2 scores. Marcus Jones to receive. And away he goes. The Red Sea parts. He has a blocker. No one's catching him in the open field. Not with that speed. That's a touchdown to bring New England to within 1 score with under 2 minutes to go. Could not complete the comeback. Buffalo wins.
All right, y'all. Number 4. So we in LA, Arizona against the Rams. Chris Atkinson, the rookie quarterback for the Rams, drops back, throws it to Cam Akers. Cam Akers doesn't make 1 man miss, not 2 man miss, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 of them miss. Cam Akers dancing in the end zone. That game, he had 4 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown, but the Rams take home that loss, 35-21.
Week 7, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Pickett to Pickens. Pickens weaving in and out of the Cincinnati defense, making them look like a Pop Warner team into the end zone. That Pittsburgh Steelers offense is on fire.
All right, number 2, Week 10. We're in Indy. Detroit versus Indy. 4th quarter. You need a big play here. Indy goes to James Cook. About to cook. Right up the middle. What does he say? Mushes this defender down to the ground. Runs all the way to the end zone. Cook finished that game with 11 carries, 101 yards, 3 touchdowns. With the dub as well. 28-38. Indy wins.
Carolina Panthers, Cincinnati Bengals. 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Carolina up 3. Bryce Young, play action pass. Double coverage, no care. Dropping it in the bucket. That's a touchdown, Hollywood Brown. Carolina also staying very hot, undefeated. Those were, that was the best of the best over the last couple weeks in the MBL. Please, we want to be featured. We want to feature everybody. I feel like the top plays are a way that any team can be represented. You can be over, no loss or no wins, all losses, and you can still put up the play of the week. So please send us in your clips. We want to spotlight you. We want to highlight every player in the MBL, every play in the MBL, whether it's special teams, offense, defense. Send the clips in, please.
I mean, what do you think about, the Rams are up there, top plays. What do you think about them being 5-7-1 right now? Is that one of your biggest surprises in NBL? I mean, it's pretty huge. I was very shocked that they have 5 wins right now.
Personally, Coach Salgado, I'm very familiar with his game. Big fan of his game. MBL is just a different animal, and it takes newcomers a little bit to get adjusted. and learn the style that we play here. And I know from experience that Coach Salgado knows this game and can play and can hang with anyone. I am not surprised that the Rams are 5-7-1. The only thing I'm surprised about is that tie. That's it. And I really think that I don't know if that tie is going to hurt them. I don't know if they're going to have enough wins, or I don't know if it's going to help them and they're going to have one fewer losses. So, no, not surprised by the Rams being where they're at.
Yeah, right now that tie has them on the outside looking into that playoff number 7 seed. If they didn't get that tie, I mean, who knows? They would be in that 7 seed right now. So that tie week 1 against the Raiders is definitely a tough one for them.
I guess, yeah, I'm looking at, pretty much every team that they're chasing has 6 wins currently, and to not be able to put the winless Raiders away, that's definitely going to hurt. And that's just that's the way the MBL is. We always want to say, oh, one play doesn't determine a game, or one game doesn't determine a season. The MBL is usually so tight that one play or one game can be the difference between you making the playoffs or missing.
For sure. Agreed.
But with that said, we're going to go coast to coast, and we're going to look at divisional MVPs so far this season. A couple of the usual suspects for sure. Maybe a couple of surprises. There's been, there's some players that are playing. I think we can get some honorable mentions in there as well, if you got it. I know I got 1 or 2, so we'll. Yeah, always. Never miss an opportunity to highlight Danny fucking touchdown. So,
who's that guy?
Who's that guy? All right, we're gonna start off in the AFC North. Since we're already talking there, who's your AFC North MVP?
Comes as no surprise. Coming off a Super Bowl win, Lamar Jackson. He's really playing well. That division's playing well. So Lamar Jackson for me is the MVP in that division simply because he is the locomotive that gets that team rolling. When you talk about 2,485 passing yards, 27 passing touchdowns, 747 rushing yards, and another 9 rushing touchdowns. He is the offense. So when you look at the Ravens and you say, hey, how do you slow down the Ravens? It starts with Lamar Jackson. If you can't do that, good luck. You're not going to stop him. But I do have that honorable mention. I do like what Kenny Pickett is doing for Pittsburgh. As I said earlier, one of our episodes, can't remember which one, but I kind of pointed to Kenny Pickett having a bounce back year, and we knew it was going to happen. We knew the Steelers were going to come out strong, but this strong offensively, they've been really great offensively. So really have high kind of regard for Kenny Pickett and what he's doing there.
You were on the Kenny Pickett train earlier than most.
Yeah, man, I have, Oracle, right? An Oracle.
Yeah. I respect you. All right, jumping down to the AFC South. I think there is a case to be made. Most improved player in the MBL for sure has got to be Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Indianapolis Colts. 25 passing touchdowns. I believe he has 10 touchdowns on the ground. Almost, he's going to get close to 1,000 yards rushing this year, which doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. But the leap that he's taken passing the ball, he's at 2,800 yards so far. It's completely blowing me away, and that's the reason why the Colts have run away with that division for sure.
Who would you take, him or Lamar?
Say that again?
Who would you take, him or Lamar?
I mean Lamar, only because
you take Lamar over Richardson?
Yeah, Lamar's already there. There's no work to do.
Now, many folk gonna point to that record and say, all right, Richardson got 11-2 record, Lamar got a 7-5 record. And so does record matter as far as your voting for MVP, if you had a vote?
I think yes, it has to. It has to. My apologies. I was thinking who I was going to take to quarterback my team in terms of the MVP race. Yes, you're absolutely right. The record has to be accurate. So yes, if the top two were Lamar or Richardson would get the nod. Even though the stats are comparable.
And I agree, the stats are definitely comparable. Yep.
Yes, absolutely. All right, moving on to the AFC East. Who you got?
All right, so I got a surprise one for the AFC East. I got I'm not going to call it a dark horse, but my underdog MVP vote would go in Washington. It would go to Chase Young. I like defense. I like defense now. And so what Chase Young is doing for Washington is best in the league. He has 9 sacks right now, 2 fumbles forced, 15 tackles for loss. I just like the way he's wrecking games. In a season where pass rushers are not getting to the quarterback as much, Chase Young is definitely doing it well for Washington. And he's giving them a leg up. And I feel like they have an opportunity to win that division because of what he's doing on defense.
They definitely are still in it at 6-7. All the top 3 teams in the East have 6 wins. So, Chase Young could swing a game or two definitely for that team. Obviously, there's more things that are going to have to go right for that team, but Chase Young is doing everything and anything he can to keep them in the race. I love it. All right. AFC West. I got a surprise one for you from the AFC West. You might be familiar with this gentleman's game. Wide receiver Marvin Mims Jr. Obviously, Kellen Mond, the quarterback, it all ends and begins with him. But I think the relationship that he's developed with Marvin Mims over the season, that's obviously his top target, his safety blanket. Go to Marvin Mims in the clutch or when he's up by 3 scores. You got 1,000 yards receiving already from Marvin Mims, 11 touchdowns, no drops. Can we talk about 0 drops? No drops.
Yeah.
Caught every pass.
That dude's a dog, man. He's a dog.
There it is. That's crazy to think of this far into the season. My man hasn't dropped a pass in almost 4 months. So good on him. Marvin Mims, AFC West MVP. Lock it in.
Hey, so Slam, they about to riot at KC, right?
I mean, I don't know. Why? Because there's you got a running back that's putting up good stats on a bad team. I guess.
They 7-6. They on the outside. They looking at a wild card. But they about to riot, right?
I mean, that's fine. Go riot all you want. It is what it is.
Man.
I would do. I mean, do we need to talk about it?
Look, Pachenko's having. You got 20 touchdowns, 20 plus touchdowns. You got a few receiving as well. So, 1,400 yards rushing. Pachenko's doing it. He's doing it well, man. He's doing it big, and he's definitely probably leading the league in MVP votes. If the league had a few, I'm sure a lot of voting members would give it to Pachenko. But that's your choice, man, and I ain't mad at it.
We just talked about it.
Yeah, there it is.
Your record has to play a part in being called an MVP, and he might be the most valuable player to Kansas City. That's fair, and I think we can say that. But I don't think he's the most valuable player in the AFC West at the moment.
Gotcha.
You take Pacheco off that team. You might not get 1,400 yards and 20 touchdowns worth of production from a running back, but that 1,400
get 7
yards,
wins.
you could definitely get 7 wins, and I think the majority of those yards and touchdowns would come from somewhere else. There's weapons all over that team.
Yeah,
so,
I hear you, man. Okay.
Yeah, it is what it is. I don't hate Pacheco's game. All right. Well, NFC North. Who you got?
No real surprise here. I know record needs to matter, but to your point about taking this player off of a team, if you take Jonathan Taylor off of the Packers, I believe the Packers don't get you 7 wins. Obviously, I think he is not only the pace for that team, but I think he is the heart and soul. I think he's everything, and we saw that last year when he went down later in the season with the injury. And that team just kind of fizzled out in the playoffs. They look kind of promising, but they fizzled out pretty easily. With Jonathan Taylor, he has 1,544 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns, 274 receiving yards and a touchdown. He is the Packers' offense, and he is the MVP for that division in my eyes.
Not even going to argue that it is what it is. NFC South, also no surprise. Bryce Young, 75% completion percentage, 3,300 yards, 26 touchdowns through the air, another 4 on the ground. Undefeated. He's the man. No real expert analysis. He's the man. That's it. You see that throw he made?
We saw it on Top 5. I mean, those are the type of throws that he's been making all season, and they've been a lot of clutch throws as well. So there's a reason why this team is 12-0 right now, and that's due to how clutch their quarterback is. And usually when you see him in the fourth quarter making big throws. So his stats might not be as gaudy as some of the other quarterbacks around the league, but when you see his big-time throws, big-time arm, his arm talent is definitely best in the league, and that's the reason why they're 12-0.
Absolutely, and they're not just beating up on the bottom tier teams. They're beating all the teams.
Yeah, they're beating some dogs too. They beat some dogs, and pretty handily too. So that just goes to show you this team is still rolling. They get into the playoffs. They're gonna have that bye, but you talk about dangerous. That team is tops in the league for sure.
NFC East. We did the NFC. We already talked about the East. AFC East.
So AFC East, I have a player in particular who also kind of to mirror Bryce Young a little bit. Josh Allen has been an absolute force for this Buffalo team. Total turnaround from last year. I think he was good last year, but he's great this year with 3,100 passing yards, 31 touchdowns. Josh Allen is playing at an MVP level, and I think he's in the talks. I think he's up there with some of the top quarterbacks. If we haven't been talking about Josh Allen, put him in there. He's one of the best right now.
And then I think that leaves, last but not least, the NFC West. I think we got a little turned around, but we're okay. So the NFC West, Kenneth Walker Jr., or Kenneth Walker III, my apologies. He's not, like you just said, he's not putting up gaudy numbers compared to some running backs, but 17 touchdowns on the ground, 1 in the air, accounting for 20 touchdowns for this team. A team that is, I don't want to say struggling because they're leading their division, but not quite playing to expectation. I think he's definitely keeping them afloat in a division that some expected them to win handily. I'm not out of line saying that, am I?
No.
No,
you were not. Say what you got to say, man. No regrets, man.
It's not about regrets. I know, everybody plays hard in the MBL. Everyone has a chance to win, so you don't want to count anybody out. But yeah, the Seahawks were definitely the favorite in that division for sure. And even though the season quite hasn't gone the way that they expected it to, Kenneth Walker is keeping them where they need to be.
So I got a follow-up to that, and I think after every podcast we do, I'm gonna ask you the same question. All right. First, I want to talk about who is your overall MVP. If you had to pick one person, who would it be? Right now, you get a vote. Who are you voting for?
Bryce Young. Quick.
Bryce Young is your MVP. Okay.
Quick.
Okay, I like that. And so with your MVP, you made a prediction earlier in the season. You remember that Super Bowl prediction that you made?
I did. I was front row.
Okay. Yep. How do you feel about that Super Bowl prediction? Do you change anything? Do you like those two teams still? Talk to me.
So, yes.
Okay.
Or no, my apologies. No,
okay.
I do not.
Nope.
I do not. I do not. Because the Bengals will make the playoffs. They'll get in there. I think that they will find a way to win some games down the stretch.
It's a long road.
It is a long road
to get right. Yeah, it's a long road for them.
Yeah. It's a long road for them to get there.
Be out.
They just had a big win over the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans are a legitimate AFC contender, and the Bengals are getting right. And I think, like I said, I think that they'll get in, and that's all you got to do. Get in, and then it's a new season. Everything starts over. It doesn't matter how many wins you had.
That's a fact. Yeah,
it's play your way in. So
that's right. That's right.
I still do like the Bengals and the Seahawks to make a run when it counts.
Okay, so the Seahawks leading their division. They're still a really good team. But like you said, for the Bengals to make it into the playoffs, you got Houston, Kansas City, Baltimore, and then Cincinnati, and then New England, and then the dark horse is Cleveland right now. Those are your teams that are fighting for that 7th seed. And those are some really good teams. And so now you gotta pick 3 of them to win and to get the 5, the 6, and the 7th seed. Of course, Houston still has the opportunity to win the division, but those are some really tough some teams with some really tough matchups coming down the stretch.
Give me the 3 teams, or give me all the teams again, and let me pick 3.
Okay, Houston, Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati. New England, and Cleveland.
All right. So, Houston, Cincinnati, Baltimore.
Ooh, Kansas City misses the playoffs. That's a big one. They were the number 2 seed last year in the AFC, and this year, not the season they were looking for, but yeah, they're right now. They just lost to Denver. So they would, and then Cincinnati beat them. So yeah, Cincinnati would be in their spot. Yeah, you're right. So KC would be in the 8th seed right now.
The only saving grace for Kansas City is their schedule. They have Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and the Chargers.
Hey, they gonna have to get their dogs out for Pittsburgh, man. Pittsburgh a tough one.
I mean, even if
they gonna really have to roll. That's a tough one.
Yeah, well, I think the only, so what are they, 7-6, and then what's Cincinnati doing currently? They currently sit at 7-6 as well, with the tiebreaker over Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. They got the tiebreaker. Yep.
Cincinnati has Buffalo, New York, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. So
Baltimore, Pittsburgh, those division games are tough, but Buffalo, whoo, that's a good one. Man, we got to tune into that one. That one's gonna be MBL Live, it's not? Yeah, it's gonna be MBL Live, Tuesday, 9 p.m. MBL Live.
All right, I'll be there.
We got a front row on that one. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still not going to change my vote, even though I see that Kansas City schedule. I think that Cincinnati finds their way to win 3 out of these last 4 games.
Got you. And so you still believe Cincinnati could make it to the Super Bowl to play Seattle, or where are you at with that?
Look, they win 3 out of these last 4 games. They'll be riding high going into the playoffs, and that's all the momentum they'll need.
Sticking with it. I like it, Wayne. Sticking with it.
Especially, let's say they win their next 3 games. Let's say they beat Buffalo, they beat New York, they beat Baltimore. And then you got that matchup against Pittsburgh week 18. Pittsburgh is already going to be comfortably in the playoffs.
I don't know. I wouldn't. Pittsburgh, I know Pittsburgh, I think they're going to be like, look, if we got an opportunity to knock them out, we're going to knock them out. We're not going to just rest our starters and kind of go eat. Nah, they're going to go hard.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Pittsburgh way. They ain't going to rest them. That's a big
either
game.
way, it's going to be exciting either way.
It's a big game.
I'm here for it.
Sure, man. I like that.
Yes, sir. Very cool. Well, that was your trip from coast to coast. As always, I'm Slam, my man Ray.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
All right, MBL. Peace.